Welcome to the new Map Insights. In this short video, we're going to show you what's changed and what's new. Once Map Insights loads, things should look pretty familiar. On the left-hand side, we have the layer tray. This is where you choose what data you want to see on the map. To close the layer tray, click anywhere in the top grey bar. To open the layer tray, click anywhere in the top blue bar. Apart from the way the layers are grouped, there's a couple of new things with the layer tray. You'll notice a small eye icon here on some layer groups. This gives you information when it's clicked about the layers in that group. Some layers themselves have their own info, like the crow layer. Underneath the customer layer group, we can see customer related layers. There's a new layer showing all customers. This is where you find life support now. One fairly large change around asset data is the separation of low and high voltage assets into their own layer groups. Underneath low voltage, we find the low voltage assets. Underneath high voltage, we see the high voltage assets. Another change is the HV conductors layer, which now includes all overhead and underground HV conductors of all voltages. Subtrans is its own layer. The remaining high voltage assets remain basically the same. We'll go into some more detail about these assets and the way they're annotated on the map in later videos. Poles are now their own layer group. Poles can be turned on based on voltages. For example, the low voltage poles layer includes all poles with any LV. The high voltage pole layer includes any pole with HV. So if a pole's got subtrans, HV and LV, it will feature in the high voltage layer, the subtrans layer and the LV layer. The other thing worth mentioning about the poles layer is they're now rendered on the map using their classification to color code them. If I turn on the all poles layer, we can see blue and orange poles. Another significant addition you'll find in the layer tray is the drawings and plans layers. Enabling the All Plans layer and zooming in, green highlights are added to the map where coverages exist. Clicking on the highlights and viewing the Files tab shows drawings attached to that coverage. Clicking the drawing number opens the drawing from Map Insights. This is available on both mobile and desktop. Another small change to the layer tray is this blue tick. It replaces the tick box that used to be on the layer group tree in the old Map Insights. It's shown if any layers within the layer group are enabled. We'll talk about the My Layers and creating custom layer sets in later videos. One more thing to mention about the layers tray is that settings in the layer tray now follow you across devices. So if I have HV conductors enabled on my desktop and I pick up my mobile, the HV conductor layer is also enabled on my mobile. The same applies to layer sets, which again we'll talk about later. Apart from that, the layer groups and the layers they contain remain pretty much the same as the existing Map Insights you're used to. Now let's take a look at search. Search is in the top right, like the current Map Insights. We've enhanced the layout of the search to give you more room for results. Let's do a search for LAS 12345. As per the current Map Insights, results are grouped. We can see all poles with this LAS number. We can show all those poles using the Show All. We can see one asset by clicking the row. We can toggle between that asset and the search results using the tabs at the top. The asset detail display has been enhanced significantly. The Street View image shown at the top of the details is now directed at the asset. To see a larger version of the Street View, click the image tile. You'll notice on the map now a new icon showing the Street View location and the direction you're facing in Street View. The arrow follows you as you move in Street View. If we change our location, the arrow follows us on the map. To see a larger street view, click the icon in the top right. To exit, top right again, or press Escape. You can also enable Street View directly from the map using the Street View button in the toolbar. We'll cover off some of the other new features in the toolbar in other videos. Above that, we have the Directions button and a way to reorient the map to the asset should you move away. The details shown for the asset remain pretty much the same. The Photos tab is now called Files and can contain shot papers, drawings, or photos. I can see that there's files to be seen because of the blue dot. Assets still have a Work tab and a Notes tab. These behave basically the same as the current Map Insights. Some assets have other tabs. If we take a look at HV switches, we'll see that the HV switch has a Load tab now. The load is pulled from Energy Workbench and shows the maximum demand over the last 2 years. The date for which maximum demand is shown can be changed below, or you can click the graph and see it full screen. To exit the graph, either click away or press Escape. The Load tab is enabled for all conductors, switches, ACRs, regs, and transformers. It's also worth mentioning that the red line on the load graph for a transformer shows its rating. The load can be viewed in either kVA or amps. Changes have also been made to the Feed-In tab. Let's turn on the Transformers layer and take a look. We can see here now that transformers have their name printed on the map. If we click into a transformer, on the Feed-In tab, we now see a summary of how many customers on that transformer or substation have feed-in, what their inverter ratings are, and what the substation rating is. Also shown is a percentage indicator of asset rating versus inverter rating. The details of each feed-in customer can be seen below. Let's turn on the maintenance layers and have a look at shot papers from SAP. Clicking on a maintenance item and looking at the Files tab, we can see a couple of shot papers from SAP. Clicking on the link opens the shot paper directly from Map Insights. This is available on mobile and desktop. To finish off our look at search, let's clear what we've been working on. To remove the markers from the map and clear the search results, press Clear. To close the search but keep the results, press the X. The only other thing worth looking at quickly in this intro with the new Map Insights is the last icon in the top right. This icon gives you a menu to either log out of Map Insights or show the info tray. The info tray is where what's new can now be found. This is where we post new articles about what we've added to Map Insights recently. Again, click the top of the tray to close it. Hopefully this short video has helped familiarise you with the new Map Insights. We'll release more videos soon to show off the new features.